Today, there are over 10,000 cryptocurrencies on different blockchains with little to no consistency. It's a formidable task to evaluate, compare, and choose which tokens are right for your investment purposes or other institutional use cases. At Digital Asset Research, we ingest and evaluate an immense amount of data, in fact, to the tune of over 250 million trades a day, so you can make strategic decisions. This video is an overview of our asset vetting process and report. In it, we'll answer 4 questions. What is asset vetting? Why is it important? How do we get the data? And what's inside a report?
Let's start by defining asset vetting. What is it? It's a 360-degree diligence on all aspects of a token and its network. Through this diligence, we'll determine if the asset is safe to hold, has a robust and increasing community of users and developers, exhibits positive network effects, or displays other risks. Among the top reasons why asset vetting is important are: it may be required by a regulator, such as the SEC Special Purpose Broker-Dealer requirements for holding crypto assets, the New York Department of Financial Services BitLicense requirements for assets not on the green list, or similar requirements globally. It may be diligence prior to listing or supporting an asset to understand if the asset is safe to hold or poses undue risk to customers. It may be understanding the risks prior to an investment to appropriately size the position before undertaking risk in this asset. It may be to measure the decentralization of an asset to support an argument about whether an asset is a security. All of this can help us avoid the downside risks from assets like Terra Luna that are not robust or may be less likely to be a security based on decentralization. Today, we're going to discuss the factors and methods useful in understanding the risks and fulfilling these obligations.
From a technology standpoint, gathering the data to support asset analysis requires a deep understanding of the space and the technology behind it. For asset vetting, we start by looking at blockchain transactions, codebase in Jira, and trade data. The ability to collect, store, and analyze this data is paramount. To accurately evaluate the relative health of a network, we need comparison data from hundreds of peers. Here are a few of the many technology issues that we solve for. We aggregate data across thousands of assets across a multitude of blockchains. We account for the complexities of mapping contracts across blockchains and listings from many exchanges to a single asset, including a space where there are no standards of ways to refer to an asset. We gather data from decentralized exchanges or DEXs with unique and often novel approaches to liquidity pool management. Handling these details allows DAR to deliver a complete and consistent asset vetting experience for our clients.
DAR's Asset Vetting Report provides a comprehensive overview of over 75 metrics from multiple dimensions. As a nascent asset class, digital assets are often misunderstood because of their interdisciplinary nature. We tackle this problem by presenting relevant information in 4 parts: token profile, trends and peer comparisons, network analysis, and asset assessment. Unlike traditional assets such as equities, sources of information for crypto are less consolidated. There are no regulated or centralized entities that contain all the data necessary to know about your asset. In Part 1, the token profile, we curate and present foundational information, which includes the project and token use cases, circulating supply and supply-demand changes, available institutional support, such as exchange listings, custodian availability, and over-the-counter desks coverage, as well as DeFi activities and so much more. In Part 2, Trends and Comparisons, we show how the asset compares to its peers in the Digital Asset Taxonomy System, or DATS, which is a common standard to classify and group over 1,300 digital assets that we have jointly developed and managed with Wilshire.
Quantitatively, in parts 1 and 2, the first metrics that we analyze are volume, the transaction counts, and pricing data. And yes, these metrics seem straightforward, but in crypto markets, we often see indications of market manipulation and falsified data. So at DAR, we're very careful to filter out any dirty data that could have a negative impact on our reports. Once we have our clean data, We break down an asset's trading volume in various ways, which include volume by exchange, volume by trading pair, and trade counts across exchanges and trading pairs as well. So to summarize, breaking down transactions and volume data like this can illustrate both the centrality and the robustness of a market. And both of those are crucial to the asset vetting process. Another vital aspect of quantitatively assessing an asset is looking at its pricing data. Of course, we can start by looking at the price of an asset over time and its returns, but thinking beyond returns, we take our pricing metrics a step further by applying them in some more creative ways. So for instance, we can overlay price movements with social statistics like Google search data to see if the rise or fall of an asset's value is related to an increase or a decrease in its popularity or its media attention. We can also compare the price movements of a cryptocurrency to the price movements of Bitcoin and Ethereum, or calculate a digital asset's price volatility.
The main goal of Part 3, the network analysis, is to paint the most accurate picture of what the assets transactions on a blockchain look like at large. The first step is providing summary statistics related to asset transactions. This includes total number of transactions, total number of wallets, asset volume sent and received, average number of transactions per wallet, and more. With these statistics, we answer questions like, are new wallets growing and at what rate? And is the daily transaction count trending in a certain direction? The second step is quantitatively analyzing the asset's blockchain data to answer the question, is the transaction activity here behaving in a way that is decentralized or not? The measures we use to answer this question vary and are typically not all-encompassing, but instead address specific questions regarding the blockchain to put all the pieces together in the end. Through our analysis, we show whether a handful of wallets account for a disproportionate amount of activity, or answer, do key influential users even exist? And most importantly, are these key players well connected or not? Overall, questions like these and others show whether an asset's network of transactions on a blockchain are quantitatively decentralized. This part of the report is the most technical, but can be adjusted for particular use cases.
Part 4 of the report evaluates the core characteristics related to the digital assets. To analyze the asset's code base, we review whether the asset follows best practices related to code audits, open source standards, accessibility, and version control. We identify the asset's public code repository and assess developer activities to determine whether or not the digital asset is actively being worked on or maintained by its core team members and community. This section also presents information about the asset's consensus mechanism and cryptographic technology. This includes information such as how the asset achieves consensus and the type of cryptographic technology it utilizes. This ensures the report captures critical information on how the asset works behind the scenes and whether or not there are relevant risks to be highlighted. To complete the report, we finish by covering the asset from a financial market perspective, including a liquidity and price analysis.
Thank you for watching. Digital Asset Research is a specialized provider of clean digital asset data, research, and insight for institutional investors. Since 2017, we have been working with flagship clients such as Bloomberg, FTSE Russell, Wilshire, and Chainlink. For more information on our asset vetting, book a consultation with one of our DAR experts today.